If let's say for instance, if you were a classical foundationalist and you read the Bible, or a Catholic, for instance, the Catholic believes or that the Bible is true, and the Bible is true because the Pope verified the Bible as true. That's a circular argument. It's true because the Pope verified it, therefore it's true. They can't allow for this. This system doesn't work with their set of beliefs. It's all self-evident.
Can you explain the Pope, though? So the Pope in position cannot be fundamentally wrong, right?
Yeah. When he's speaking ex cathedra, Vatican I implies this. He basically says that in any teaching, ordinary, extraordinary...
But that itself is a fallacy, right?
We would believe it's a logical fallacy because classical foundationalism, they cannot have circularity. It has to just be. But that model in of itself, how do you justify that? Whether it's Catholic or not, it's not fundamentally reserved to the Catholic. It's just an implication that was made by St. Thomas Aquinas, but they didn't question the laws of logic. They just went with it. And the Enlightenment thinker David Hume and Locke, they questioned this. Now, I'm not saying that they're right. They were atheists. They didn't believe in Christianity, really. They were kind of trying to figure this out, but they had the audacity and the means to question this. If this is self-evident, why is it self-evident? And you saying it just is not a justification.
No.
But they at least had the audacity to say, we have the right to ask these questions. If what you're saying is true, if I have to follow in your footsteps, and if everything revolves around what you have just said, why is there no justification? Mm-hmm. And so what happens is they tend to come up with I'm not singling out Catholics here. Again,
we're just talking to talk. Go ahead.
Exactly. Like we're in schism, Orthodox and Catholics. We, if anything, we want to come back together and one day, find a way to work through this. And we have to make sure that we love each other, but we cannot put aside the truth, and that is the truth, is that the system that anybody who's classical foundationalist uses, they have to give a justification for that. The onus of the argument's on them. It's not on us. We don't believe that truth is self-evident. We believe that it coheres, and it kind of has, we like the web of beliefs. But if you cannot give me a reason why something is self-evident, why the peripatetic axiom itself, which is knowledge that is in the intellect was first in the senses, why that axiom is not in the senses in daily life, and you had to deduce that, therefore it's not true, where do we find the basis of your claims? People might say, well, this is just a nuance, this doesn't have any variation. Well, you're mistaken to believe this nuance doesn't have implications on the imperialist methodology and mindset they have. This is a total package. It's a total package to where if one of it fails, it all fails, because it's based on one principle that is self-evident, that if it messes up here, there's a problem, or if it's circular. And what we find is when we research the dogma of the Catholic Church is they've already contradicted themselves in their doctrine, in their dogma. Mortalium Animos, which is a papal encyclical, contradicts Vatican II, which basically Vatican II came out and said that pan-religious ceremony with anybody of other religions is a heresy. This is what Mortalium Animos said. But then when Vatican II came out, and it's all of its implications with Pope Francis, he's praying in mosques, he's doing this thing. To the unlearned listener, we're not degrading people on a general basis here. We're just saying it contradicts. And if the Pope can speak ex cathedra, which means he doesn't make error, you have to give an account why one Pope said this is a heresy, which means it's not right. It's not a part of our system. Fast forward to the Pope praying in mosques when it's all synonymously tied in as a historical.
But at the end of the day, the story shows that man is flawed to the highest degree. And you can see influence of power and there's no perfect man, and that's why a lot of people resort to religion as well, because man itself are so flawed and corrupted. And like, even in the concept you were saying, like even the Pope himself, you know, I don't know. It's really good, man.
Well, that's the thing. It's very, this is why it's important to do the history. This is why it's important to study. This is why it's important to research what you're doing.
Do the research, dude. Actually do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yes.
Because it doesn't, to be fair, it really doesn't take a leap to figure this stuff out.
No.
You just need a couple of good resources, and we don't really, I mean, you know, granted, people who don't have access to the internet, and God bless them. I mean, may God lead them as he has always done. Nevertheless, if you have access to the internet, we don't really have an excuse anymore in my head. If you are telling me you have a basis of beliefs that you justify because you have decided upon it and you think it's true and you haven't verified it, you haven't attacked your position, you have to first tell me why it's true, and second, why you haven't done the research in my head. Because, I mean, I think one thing that I made sure I did before I came to the conclusion with Christianity is I went through a period where I was like kind of looking at truth in a universal sense, like, oh, we're all part of the same thing in a way. And I did kind of look into why Christianity was true, but I also looked at the other ones and I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? I have to agree, I did also attack my own faith. I said, well, why is this true? Why do I have the right to believe in this?
Exactly.
And, you know, people think that's a heresy. You're not allowed to do that. Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with asking these questions. It's not a sin. It's that you ask questions. You want to know, you'll figure it out. But nevertheless, once you've done that, then you can give rise to your claims or in anything. And basically that's, I think, what I've fundamentally concluded after this research, that it is very important to do such a thing. But